Hello class, today we are going to talk about the topic or we'll discuss the topic about youth unrest that is included in the unit 4 and the name of the unit is social problem in India. Okay, today we'll proceed with our topic that is youth unrest and we'll be talking about the concept, characteristic, causes, types and remedies. Well, first we'll see what is youth unrest and we'll have a brief introduction about youth unrest. Why do youth unrest? What is youth unrest? Youth, when we talk about youth, it is the time of life when one is young and often means the time between childhood and adulthood. So in India, the youth are labeled as militant, rebellious, revolutionary, irrational, and undisciplined. So in the situation like India, when there is total disillusionment in society with the existing structure and institution, with contradiction in the social system, with the politics and politicians and the decision makers and the decisions. When everything or when everybody is conscious of the falling standards in all walks of life, social discrimination, prevailing corruption, and the search for quick monetary gain through illegitimate means. By all these factors, the youths are disappointed and disillusioned. So, the youths become unrest that lead them to agitation, movement, revolution, burn, strike, and so on. So, all these factors contributing to the rise of youth unrest or youth agitation in India. That's about a brief introduction of youth unrest. We'll move with the concept. We know about the concept of youth, now about unrest. The meaning of unrest means disturbed condition. It is a state of disillusionment and dissatisfaction. To know about the concept of unrest, we'll see about social unrest. Social unrest is a manifestation of collective disillusionment, discontentment, and frustration of the group, community, or society. For example, let's see, there is a student unrest. We can call it a student unrest only when the problem of the student is on common issues like admission, content of course, examination system, and so on. We can say that in that case, student unrest exists. But when the unrest or the problem or like is confined only to a particular students in one university, then it cannot be perceived as the problem of the student. So thus the concept of unrest is on collective frustration and illusionment on the common issue of the group in society, not in particular. Thus, youth unrest may be defined as the manifestation of collective frustration of the youth in the society. It is manifest when the existing norms in the society are perceived by the youth as ineffective or harmful to the extent that they offend them, and they feel so disillusioned and disgusted that they recognize the need for changing these norms. That's about the concept of youth unrest. Okay, next we'll move with the characteristic of youth unrest. On the basis of concept drawn by various scholars and sociologists, youth unrest. So youth unrest is characterized by collective discontentment. It's a common issue or common disappointment or common problem. Dysfunctional condition. A condition which is not functional like. And the third that is public concern relating with the concern of all the groups or all the public, whoever it is concerned. And the next is the need for change in the existing norms. like the norms or the rules have to be changed. So this were the reason why there is youth unrest. This the prevailing situation have to be changed, and that in that prevailing situation that there have to be collective discontentment, like a common problem, like and dysfunctional condition, and even this need the public concern. So these are the characteristics of youth unrest. Speaking about youth unrest, some scholars also define indiscipline as youth unrest, or characteristic as characteristic of youth unrest. Like Ramaphosa maintained three situations which creates indiscipline among the students. The first, that is, student lost interest in the goal of the educational institution. So in this type, the student is termed or known as indisciplined because he loses interest in the goal of educational institution, in which he still remain as a member, but he doesn't follow the norms. So indiscipline is also regarded as a characteristic of youth unrest. And the second point, that is, students accept the goals but doubt whether the institution can achieve them. They therefore try to improve the situation by deviating from its norms. In this case, the students, they think that they are smarter than the institution, so they therefore try to improve the institution by deviating from the norms of the institution. And the third situation of indiscipline is the norms of institutions fail to achieve goals, and students therefore want a change. It's like the existing condition of the institution is dysfunctional, so there needs to be a change in the norm. So these were the three types, or like three situations given by Ramaphosa about indiscipline, which is a characteristic of youth unrest. And the next we'll move with causes of youth unrest. Why there is causes of youth unrest? Why the youths are in a disturbed condition or in a disillusionment? We will see the following. The factors which contribute to the problem of youth unrest are: number one, that is improper socialization and family problem. So when we talk about improper socialization, it means the failure on the part of parents to bring up their children in according with the culture expectation of the society. And talking about family problem, we'll talk about the evil habits and the bad qualities of the parent, who also have a harmful effect on the personality and growth of the children. So failure of the part of the parent to bring up the children in accordance with the cultural expectation of the society. That is improper socialization. And family problem as the evil habit and the bad qualities of the parents, which have a harmful effect on the personality and growth of the children. And the second condition, that is political, social and economic inequalities. The youths are the most sensitive to political, economic and social inequalities, even exploitation. They have contempt for the existing system. They are disillusioned with what they have and what they are having, and are pessimistic about their future. Social inequalities like caste system in India, and all these factors have brought about disillusion among the youth, and are pessimistic about their future. And the third, that is defective educational system. The youths do not have any respect for the present defective educational system. It means defective educational system means the educational system is outdated, uninspiring, unintegrated, and irrelevant with educational system that cannot make the student become disciplined and responsible. So this is also one of the causes of youth unrest. And the fourth point, that is unemployment. Unemployment among the educated youth is increasing. The education they receive does not enable them to become economically self-reliant. Moreover, on the other hand, the government is not in a position to provide employment to the educated youth. So, as a result, the youth today are losing confidence in them and are becoming more and more restless. And the next, that is the fifth point, that is corrupt and discredited authority. The youth are disappointed with the corrupt and discredited authority. Corruption, greedy for power, moral lapse, opportunities, nepotism, discrimination, etc. All these factors are found among our political, social, and religious leaders that has made the youth today to have nothing but contempt for them. The leaders have failed to set up a good model for the student to emulate. So the youths are discontent and there is youth unrest because of corrupt and discredited authority. And the sixth point, that is misuse of the student power by the politician. The corrupt politicians who are making use of student power to further their political interests are also contributing to the problem of youth unrest. They use student as a puppet in the hands of disgruntled politicians to serve their selfish interests. So this is also one of the cause of youth unrest. And the seventh point, that is administrative failure. Youth unrest is also or is often caused due to administrative error and miscalculation. Like the indifferences and the sympathy for the students or the youth demand on the parts of the administration many times forces the youth to resort to strike, ban, agitation, etc. So administrative failure also contribute to the causes of youth unrest. And the next, that is communication gap. Talking about communication gap, it means lack of understanding and lack of proper communication between the youth and social leaders, or between student and teacher, or between parent and children. All this cause youth unrest. The communication gap, or the lack of understanding and proper communication between the youth and the leaders, students and the teachers, and parents and the children. All these factors cause youth unrest. And the next, that is lack of opportunities. The youths, they do not get proper opportunities to express their talent, to cultivate their interests, and develop their personality. This has contributed to their dissatisfaction. And the next, that is gap between the aspiration and achievement. The youth are likely or supposed to have their own aspiration and ambition. Like they they are dreaming of something, but in the real sense, or in reality, or in ground reality, they become disgusted. They are dreaming of something big, but in reality, they realize they won't be able to achieve, and which result them to discontentment. Like the youths, they are filled with unfulfilled desire and aspiration and can hardly be at rest. There is a gap between that aspiration and achievement. And the next, there is influence on movies. The modern movies, which mostly portray violence, arson, loot, rape, or sexual assault, murder, immorality, crime, etc., have a great demoralizing effect on the modern youth, and it is also one of the causes of youth unrest. And the next point, that is lack of determination and self-responsibility. Some of the youths lack willpower and self-determination. They depend more on others than on their intrinsic abilities and talents. They obviously means they, like an ape, imitate others and fail to develop the spirit of self-reliance. They are hesitant to assume responsibilities. So such youths are highly vulnerable for any kind of use. And the next point, that is the value difference and conflict of values. So there is a differences in value, there is a change and conflict of values, which contribute to youth unrest. Subpoint, that is some of the old values are at conflict now, like the traditional belief, traditional practices, traditional ideas and values appears to be outdated, unscientific, irrelevant and irrational for the youth. So there is a conflict between the old values and new. So there is a value conflict, which also causes youth unrest. And the next, that is the youths become more rationalistic. So the modern youth, they are impressed by modern values based on science and rationalism. And the third, that is the youth are influenced by values of individualism and democracy. Since the youth, they are under the influence of the values of individualism and democracy, they are revolting against the old traditional order. And the next, there is the youth feel they are mature, responsible and sensible. So the youths, they regarded or they feel that they are mature, responsible and sensible. So they treated elders as immature and irresponsible. They feel annoyed and embarrassed. And the next, there is some of the youths are carried away by the hedonistic values or pleasure philosophy. They have no respect for any values, for they have lost faith in them. Okay, these are the points which causes youth unrest. Okay, we'll move with the next, that is the types of youth unrest. Okay, according to Weiler, youth unrest assume four forms. They are, the first one, that is political activities and movement. In some cases, youth unrest is associated with larger political movement. Like the student, they take up political issue and join hand with other non-youth organizations and even political parties and fight for them. Like students have participated in various political movements like water dispute, dismissal of minister, postponement of election, and so on. They have taken out procession, staged demonstration, Garau minister and resort to violence and conflict with police authorities. And the second that is student agitation for educational cause. Students have agitated for educational causes like demanding for appointment of lecturers, enough supply of laboratory equipment and library books, reform in examination system and types of question paper, transfer of vice chancellor, improvement of hostel, participation in university, college, school, administration and so on. And the next there is agitation against non-institutional authorities. Students have also agitated for non-educational or non-political causes like demanding special concession for students traveling in buses, trains or concession even in commercial recreational centers. And the next that is spontaneous agitation. Sometimes students have agitated suddenly in an unexpected manner. They may sometimes quarrel with bus conductor, auto rickshaw driver, police and public servants, and even many may go strike against them. So this type of agitation which happens at a spontaneous or which can be treated as spontaneous outbursts of youth forces. Okay, now we'll move to the next subtopic, that is remedies of youth unrest. Okay, a few suggestions may be made to minimize youth unrest. And the first suggestion that is system of education. The educational system requires comprehensive planning and an integral approach. This will bridge the gap between the student students actually experience and what is taught in the school, college or university. Any institution should make proper provision for adequate boarding and lodging facilities, better libraries and reading rooms and laboratories, enough facility for recreation and extracurricular activities, and seminar and tutoring. All this educational system or improvement in educational system will be one of the remedies of youth unrest. And the second that is employment opportunities. The educational system should be made to support or made to provide opportunities for the students to offer courses in agriculture, engineering, business management, commerce, medicine, etc. The spirit of self-reliance must be created among the students. And the third remedy, that is provision for leisure time activities. Students should not be allowed to idle their time by arranging different games like indoor games, dramatic performance, excursion, field trip, fine art, painting, music, photography, swimming, etc. must be encouraged among the students, so as they should not spend or the students won't be allowed to idle their time. And the fourth, that is economic difficulties. Poor and needy students should be given financial help through scholarship, free ship, loan scholarship, free hostel facilities, stipends, etc. so that they do not drop out of school or colleges. The program of while you learn should be well organized under this economic difficulties. And the next there is discipline. Students should be assisted in developing self-discipline, for it is long-lasting than the imposed discipline. Indiscipline should be dealt with sternly, but of course humanistically. And the student should be assisted in developing self-discipline, not by imposing discipline on them. And the next that is able leadership. The students badly need able and efficient leadership. So leadership training program under provision should be introduced in any established institution. And the seventh that is role of political parties. All parties or all political parties should make refrain from the college and university campus. Their active involvement would spoil the peaceful atmosphere of the campus. The student leaders, teachers, and university authorities must make joint venture to save education and campus from power politics. And the last that is communication between student and teacher. The communication gap between the teacher and the student should be bridged. Like the teachers must act as a friend, as a guide, and as a philosopher, so that the discontentment, dissatisfaction, or disillusionment of the student or the youth will be dissolved or will not exist. So these were the remedies. Like the teachers should act as a guide, as a friend, and even as a philosopher. So the gap between the teacher and student should be bridged. That is where the remedies for youth unrest. We'll see with the conclusion. So it is true that there is youth unrest, but it is a part of a national malady. The student as a class can play a vital role in any attempt to change the national scene. Asking the student to behave without the authorities doing anything to solve their problem. It is not only unjust to the student, but will further alienate them from the authorities. They have a participatory role to play in the task of the nation building. So the students' power have shown that it is a potential factor that can bring about a vast socio-political change. Thank you.